test of a different kind of setup to go live. I've tried different types of ways to do this week, and a lot of them have not had very good audio. So this is another experimental test to see if we can get the audio to work properly in this situation. Sorry, I have to turn off my speakers because it's doubling up the audio. Experimental test to see if we can get the audio to work properly in this situation. Let me turn off my speakers for this so we don't keep having an echo. Makes it very distracting to speak if I do that. And hopefully that will mean that I didn't just turn off all the audio, although I think I did a test about this before, and that wasn't the case. It was just fine. That the audio was just fine. Don't think that the audio of the actual painting is going to be very loud because I'm just doing kind of some touch-up work. So I decided to try to be able to capture the louder whispering in this situation. You may hear a little echo coming from any other speaker that's open. Hopefully it won't feed back. I don't know if the microphone will pick up any of the canvas sounds anyway, or very much of it. It's mostly just a test to see if we can get the audio to work. So I've done about 3 of these tests so far, trying to get it to where you can actually hear the audio. Sometimes it's too far away, and you can't really hear it, or the audio is breaking up because I'm using a speaker that's too far away. So today I'm using a professional microphone to capture the audio and hoping that that will be a better quality. I'm having to paint with both my left and my right hand to be able to reach in and do some of the painting from different angles. Just especially to do some of the finer work so that I can get right up on the edges. This particular piece is in a series called Journey of Color. This came about from a discussion that I had with another artist that was talking about the fact that most artists avoid the color red and how you have to sort of work up to that and how it's not very popular with most people. Most people are drawn to pieces that are blue or purple because it's more calming types of colors. And so I talked to her about the fact that I wanted to do a series starting with the coolest colors of all blues and then work my way through the color wheel essentially, with each piece representing a particular type of color. In this case, this particular piece is focusing on the color teal. So this has variations of the color teal, starting with the base colors of blue and green. This is a lighter version of teal, and I may or may not keep this depending on how the rest of the painting comes together. Because one of the things that I wanted to capture was this really incredible teal color that my grandparents had on their car. It was really almost like a forest green darkness and richness, but it really was a very dark teal with a teal pinstripe on it. The teal pinstripe was a little bit lighter than the shade that I'm using right now, but I'm wanting to bring in that very, very dark teal that was the color of their car because I just found it so rich and so interesting. Because the same way that people might like a forest green for the rich and deepness of the color, this teal had that type of appeal, but it had that little bit of a twist for it actually being teal and not a forest green. Let's see, I don't know if that particular bend, I guess that bend is visible still on the camera. Kind of moving around a lot to different places that need to have some um, paint filled in on it, not just smooth edges, but also where the paint is a little bit thin. So you may see me moving around outside of the camera range. I'm going to try to move back in a little bit, but I also want to make sure that I get these curves and get these edges smoothed out so that I can move on with some other colors. Right now, most of the areas that I have finished are pretty raw, where I've just kind of thrown down some paint. And so I want to start finishing that out and smoothing it. That may also seem like I paint over areas that look finished already. But one thing that I have to also make sure of is that there are not little raised areas on the paint that can dry and make it look uneven, make it look where you can see too much. I don't mind seeing brush strokes in certain types of paintings, but when this particular painting is trying to get your eyes to focus primarily on the color itself, then I'm wanting to very much make sure the focus is on the color in a flat, applied way that makes it look almost screen printed instead of painted on. And the only way to do that is to make sure that all of the paint is applied in a very, very even tone, with areas not being thicker in some places and thinner in others. So as I'm looking across the surface of this, if I see a raised area, I have to try to add more paint or subtract more paint from that area to make it look more smooth, again, as though it's almost screen printed on. Okay, so this is going to be the end of my test right here so that I can actually stop and go and listen to the video that will be created once I end the live stream. YouTube will save the video feed and will allow me to go in and edit that to some degree. I have a little brush hair there that I need to remove from the paint as well. But anyway, I'm going to go in and see how the audio is on this particular test and see if this is going to be a very viable way for me to do some live broadcasts of the painting. I'm excited for that because I feel like it will move things along a little bit more, because then I can focus more on spending a longer time with the painting and not just recording in a static way, and then having to edit that, but to actually go ahead and just work on a painting live with you. And you're welcome as well to ask questions or communicate in the chat. And if you are enjoying this content, then please like and subscribe the videos and the channel. Thank you, and let's go see how this one has turned out.